Well, welcome back, folks. Today we're going to continue on with preparation for and powder coating this right side cover of the Yamaha YL1. I have completed the bead blasting of all the exposed surfaces. You will note that I did not do this inside cavity. This is where the oil pump will fit. I just stuffed newspapers in here and wadded it up in such a way that they would protect this from the media, the blast media. I also did not do this edge. This is a gasket surface here. That was not bead blasted. As well as the cavity for the kick starter shaft seal. That was not bead blasted. The inside nor the back side of the side cover. This is the original finish. It was cleaned very well. Talked a bit earlier about cleaning the gasket surface. That wasn't bead blasted either, just as a way of reminder. This inside cavity here will not be powder coated. Obviously the gasket surface won't be powder coated, nor will the cavity inside this cavity, this gasket surface, or the bushing, or rather the seal surface here for the kickstart shaft. So basically it's just the outside of this side cover that will be powder coated. It's been soaking for a couple of days in clean acetone just to make sure that there's no remaining oil or grease. It was completely immersed in the acetone, and I repositioned it several times during those 2 days. There's nothing magical about the 2 days. I just had the time to do it that way. Normally I would scrub these, if time was an element, with a clean brush in the acetone for a few minutes, rinse it, clean it again, and that would be fine. But I had the time, so I just soaked it. Next step is I'm going to preheat this in my oven at 450 degrees for about 30 minutes twice. So I'll preheat it once for 30 minutes, so take it out, let it cool, normalize to air temperature. I will re-rinse it in clean acetone. Then it will go back in the oven for another 30 minutes at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. The reason I'm doing that is twofold. One is to make sure that it outgasses properly before I powder coat. The second reason is to make sure there's no embedded oil that I did not get out, that got into the pores of the metal over the years. These side covers obviously are exposed to road filth and dirt and grease and sand, and in particular any oils or contamination that gets into the pores that I haven't gotten out yet with acetone. I'm essentially going to bake out. That's the plan. After the second preheating to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, then I will take it out, let it cool down. It doesn't have to cool completely down. Then I will proceed with the powder coating. Here's the side cover all prepared for powder coating. It's been baked twice at 450 degrees for 40 minutes, allowed to cool, and then scrubbed with clean acetone twice. Now you can see I've got it all masked off. This is high temperature masking tape that's designed for powder coating. I think it's a silicone based tape, but I couldn't swear to it. But anyway, it's all masked off, so this cavity is masked off as well as the gasket surface. The kickstarter shaft seal, got that mask off. You can see I've got plugs, silicone plugs in all the holes to prevent powder coat from getting into those holes. And then on the back, the gasket surface has been sealed with masking tape, so no powder gets up underneath that. When I dust on the powder, I don't have to worry about this or any of these holes because they've been masked from the opposite side. The real purpose of these plugs in these holes here, the case screw holes, is to provide me a way to elevate it just slightly like that, so that when I spray the powder around the perimeter, I'll make sure I get all the way down to the edge where the tape is. Next step is just do a quick wipe down with, again, a clean cotton cloth with acetone just to make sure I didn't smudge anything. And then I'll go ahead and shoot the powder. There's a basic powder coating setup. I just took a cookie sheet here that I have in the shop that I use for powder coating, flipped it upside down. That becomes my surface plate. You can see the ground strap right here running from the powder coating system. This part has to be grounded to the powder coating system, so I just ran a bolt into the top of the side cover for the, I think that's for the cable pass through into the oil pump. So I threaded a bolt in. I had to do that anyway, or plug it with a silicone plug and then attach the ground strap, as you can see here, the ground wire. Essentially now it's ready to go. The oven has been preheated to 400 degrees. This is heated for 10 minutes at 400 degrees according to the manufacturer. The powder, I get my powder, by the way, it's powder by the pound. Next step, we'll put on my respirator, my safety glasses. Obviously I have gloves on, keep the part clean, and I'll go ahead and apply the powder. This push button right here, my left hand, I push when I want to ground the part. So I push that when I'm going to apply powder, release it when I'm done. There's no need to rush. This powder is completely dry. I'm taking my time. Got the button pushed. Now I have to reposition myself around to the other side so I can spray this way. What you're striving for here is a nice even coat. You don't want to go too heavy, but at the same time you don't want to go too thin either. This is electrostatically charged, so it's attracted to the metal. I think we've got enough steam on that. Now I'm going to move it to the oven and bake it for 10 minutes. We're back. The side cover is finished, and through the magic of television, we've instantly jumped ahead to a completed part. This part is now cooled. I've removed all the masking from the back and the front, and you can get a good look at what it looks like there. This is the top. There's a little bit of a flaw there in the metal. That's not in the finish, that's in the metal there. And right there is that little divot I smoothed out a bit. When this is in use like this, and the Kickstarter is in this position here, won't be an issue. I thought I would contrast for you the difference in color between this simply silver powder coat and an NOS part. So keep in mind, this is the right side cover, which will sit, when my finger's pointing, is the front of the motorcycle. The one in my right hand will be on the right, and the one on the left, this is an NOS part by the way, will be on the left. I'll talk about this cover in a little bit more detail in another video, but this is an NOS part. It's got a lot of shelf wear, as you can see here. And here the paint's been beat up. It's been sitting on a shelf for 50 plus years. And I I had to buy a new part, and I'll talk about that later. But what I really want to share with you now is a little bit of the difference in color, which often can't be helped. The fundamental difference between the two of them, to my eye anyway, is the part that I just powder coated on the right is a little more silver. The one on the left, the original part, is a little more gray. Now, could I have duplicated this gray with spray paint, that is a wet coat? Maybe. I don't know. Probably, though. The reason I powder coat, though, isn't as much for an exact color match, because it's going to be very difficult in a powder coat, unless you have a custom mix, and that'd get expensive, to match this original color. The reason I go to a powder coat is, frankly, durability. This powder is very fuel resistant, and it's very durable. I've never been happy with wet coating side covers or engine covers with commonly available spray paints. Now, you can get 2-packs now. They're quite expensive that are, I think they have a urethane component to them that are much more durable. I don't know about color options, but they're much more durable. But for my money, powder coat, which is relatively easy to do, it's durable, it's inexpensive, and I will accept the minor variation in color because I am willing to exchange that for durability and fuel resistance. This paint on the left is probably fairly fuel resistant right now, simply because it's 50-some years old and it's had plenty of time to cure. This is probably a lacquer-based paint, I would think. I don't know for sure. But anyway, there's a slight difference in color, but to me it's not an issue. What I'm going to do is this cover eventually will be stripped and will be powder coated to match this cover, so they'll match anyway. That's it for this video. I appreciate you watching as usual. If you got any questions about this, let me know. Or comments, feel free to drop them below. And we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.